Hello, but welcome back to United Way for the Newcastle versus Manchester United Premier League preview. Manchester United are in action once again on Wednesday, the 4th of March at 8:15 p.m. at St James's Park. Gonna be a big one. We're third place going into this game on the back of a 2-1 win against Palace at home. Why is that crest looking like that? I haven't got an absolute clue, so ignore that. Honestly, it just nothing goes my way when we do these previews. So yeah, I do apologise for the Man United and even Newcastle crest looking like it's on drugs. But look, before we get stuck into the video, please comment your predictions for this game. Do subscribe and follow our socials, links in the description below. It'll be much appreciated. Yeah, look, another big game. Another big game. Look, there's our form there. If you want to have a look, I'll leave it up for the next 2 or 3 minutes. But yeah, look, we're coming into this game, like I said, on the back of a 2-1 victory, a big 2-1 victory against Crystal Palace at home. We had to work for it. First half we were poor, second half we were a lot better, which is well, it was needed. We're moving the ball a lot quicker, more urgency, and yeah, the fullbacks were getting up the pitch a lot more because in the first half against Palace, Luke Shaw, before he went off, wasn't doing a lot of runs forward. Then Mazraoui wasn't doing a lot of runs forward when he came on, and Dallo as well. So in the second half, there was a lot more, quick ball moving, more urgency, players getting forward, and more balls into the box, which, I mean, we gave Sesko service, all thanks to Bruno Fernandes, who had a brilliant game, man of the match, a goal and assists. Gave Sesko service and Sesko put the ball away. See what happens when you give a striker service? He actually puts the ball in the back of the net. And a man like... By the way, I'd love to see a number on how high Sesko jumps. Because when that man, like, Jesus, that man... I'm sure that fella gives Ronaldo a run for his money when it comes to leaps in the air. I mean, I know he's taller than Ronaldo and all, which is to be expected, but still, he's Jesus Christ. Yeah, buzzing with Sesko's form at the moment. And Manchester United's form in life is great as a United fan at the moment, you know. Yeah, we've had to work for our last 2 victories against Everton and Palace, but, you know, this Man United side, especially last season, we probably get slapped in probably all 5 of these games. Except Spurs, because Spurs are probably the most easiest team to play at this moment. I mean, Wolves are a harder team to face than Spurs at this moment, let's be real here. But yeah, look, there's our form. 3-2 win against Arsenal, 2-0 win against Spurs, 1-1 draw against West Ham, 1-0 win against Everton, and a 2-1 win against Palace. So you can see at the end there, 4 wins, 1 draw, and 0 losses. And obviously I've changed the edit up a bit. Usually it'd be different, but I thought I'd switch it up, make it different, make it more, in detail, because I felt like it was a bit scruffy the last one. So yeah, I like this. I'm happy and I'm content with this. But look, let's jump into a bit of Manchester United team now. Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire are both devs from Man United. Carrick revealed after the Palace game that they had felt unwell, while Shaw also suffered a knock to his foot. I mean, Maguire played 87, 88 minutes. He came off for Aiden Heaven. Aiden Heaven came on ahead of him, sorry. But, look, I thought Maguire had a very good game yesterday. We got a standing ovation, a round of applause for his performance yesterday, and that's it's lovely to see a player like Maguire who's turned his form around and has had a good resurgence, you could say, at the club. Because there was a time where Maguire was probably our most dangerous player, and that was in our own box. Not to, oh yeah, it's I love to see it. Big up Slabhead, but yeah, look. I hope he's not out for this game. I do actually have him to start. We predict 11. I'll throw it up in a few minutes. But yeah, no, I just feel like we can't have Maguire out now because, Shaw's probably going to be out for this game. Leach, he's probably not going to be back for this game. And if he is, he'll probably be on the bench. But then if Maguire's out when Leach is back, well, then Leach obviously goes straight back in there because having him Euro, they still they're good defenders, but they need to be alongside a Delay or a Maguire or a Leach. So yeah, but yeah, look. Maguire definitely, especially in that first half, had to do a lot of work. So yeah, I hope he's okay for this game. He should be okay for this game because, he didn't seem to have any knocks, injuries, anything like that. Just seems to be unwell. But for someone that was unwell, he had a good game. So, yeah. I do hope he's not. There's all the comments. Do you think Maguire will be out for this game? I think if he's out for this game, like I said about Heaven and Europe, they are good defenders, but they need to be alongside Delay. Delay be out for this game, so that's why I just put up recent team news. Nothing about Leachy yet. But it's not confirmed that Shaw Maguire going to be out for this game, but I think Shaw was probably I think we can safely say Shaw will be out for this game. Maguire is yet to be known. I'm sure Carrick will have a press conference maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. Usually when a match when you have a match on a Sunday, usually you do it after that. Like maybe, post-match press conference then the pre-match conference for this game. So I'm not too sure what the story is there. But this has been recorded pre that anyway, so I can't really say much about it. So yeah, I hope, Maguire is going to be available for this game because he is massive at the back. He really, really is. This is going to be a tough game. Newcastle, I just seen there that they've 3 defeats in a row at home in the Prem. I'm trying to figure out Everton, Brentford. Who was doing before that? Who was doing before that actually? But that's what I've seen there. So, they yet to win there in the 3 last Premier League games. Obviously, they won there just last week against Karabag in the Champions League. But yeah, it's still going to be a tough game. I think St James's Park is a tough place to go to for any team. Good or bad, it's going to be a tough place to go to. Can we get at them 100%? I think this Manchester United can get at them, and I think with how Newcastle are, they're sort of up and down. I think we can, and I hope we can. Because these are the type of games where Manchester United are coming to town. Newcastle could be really, really. Their fans will be up for this game. They have a great support, but the players, they can. This is a game that when United come to town, let's get up for. Let's be pumped up for it, and let's turn the form around and let's start playing good football for once. Because I watched them play. Well, I watched probably the last. You can't really say a lot in the last 5-10 minutes. Watching 5-10 minutes of a match, you know a lot. But they were sort of dominating there, which would be expected because Everton were 3-2 up, defending late. But I watched them play Karabag, which that time was pretty much done. So I haven't really watched a lot of it. I watched the last second 45 minutes against City actually, when they lost 2-1 at the Etihad, and I thought they played well. I thought a draw was a fair result there. Obviously, they didn't get the draw, but I thought it was a fair result. But look at a man that'll be vital for this game, and I'll just throw the form back up there. Will be Bruno Fernandes. I mentioned him at the start there. He was unbelievable in the last game against Palace. Bruno Fernandes has, when we've really needed a result and when we've really needed him, he's turned up, and he's been a big reason why we've gotten the win. I think he gets into. I think he gets into every team. Any team, you name me a team that Bruno Fernandes gets into, and I'll say yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He gets into that team. Every team wants Bruno Fernandes. I'm not being biased. Look at what Bruno Fernandes does compared to a lot of other midfielders around the world. They are incredible. They are good midfielders, but what Bruno does, he is just. I love Bruno. I really love Bruno Fernandes. He's a really, really good player. I thought his first half. I say the first 20-25 minutes wasn't the greatest, but look, it wasn't the team's greatest either. We sort of did start to put pressure on and come into the game. We could say with 10-15 minutes left in the first half, and the second half we improved a lot more. Bruno Fernandes is just unbelievable, and this will be another game that we're really going to need him to be on it. He's the man that does the magic. He's the man that does the magic. He's the Portuguese Magnifico. He does the magic. You can even watch him for Portugal, and he's pulling the strings. He's doing bits. And Bruno Fernandes, I mean, look, it's funny because remember, last summer, it was pretty much going to be one of those where Bruno could have went to Saudi for like 100 million or something like that. And people were saying, oh, get rid of him, because obviously last season we were rubbish. No one was playing well for us. And results we did get were all literally down to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno's a player we cannot afford to let go. Because if Bruno was to leave this club in the summer, say, and if we make Champions League football, he definitely won't leave. He definitely won't leave. But we cannot afford to let Bruno Fernandes go. We really, really can't. We'd have to spend a lot of bucks to replace him, and I think it'd be a struggle. It's easy to bring in a great midfielder, but someone like a Bruno, you'd be looking at a long time. But yeah, another thing, we need to start games better. I felt like West Ham, we started slow. Everton, we started slow. And Palace, we definitely started slow. We conceded in the first 4 or 5 minutes. So we need to start games quicker. Gain that momentum. Gain that control. Against Newcastle at St. James's Park, you need to sort of quieten the crowd. Palace doing it yesterday. We were up for the game. I don't like Manchester United. The supporters just out of this world. Look, I may have my red tinted glasses on. I don't care, but it is true. It's like Jamie Carragher says it, and he even said I seen a video that he said, "Man, United have the greatest away support. We also have the greatest home support." Jamie, just gonna say that. So yeah, if that's the scouts are saying he played for Liverpool. I mean, what more do I need to say? So yeah. I'm better build to play as well. The passes, I want to see the passes we've seen against City and Arsenal. Everything was getting clipped up. Cunha, Bruno, Luke Shaw, Cunha. Bruno, Dorgu, Bruno. I mean, I want to see that. And look, people are saying that's all down to Carrick giving the players less time off. Well, then get them fucking in. Get them in. Because we haven't seen it. Spurs, we sort of seen it. Fulham, we sort of seen it. But I mean that Arsenal should be actually Fulham. That should be Fulham, not Spurs. That should be Fulham, not Arsenal. So yeah, apologies for that again. What is wrong with me today? But yeah, I want to see that. We want to see them passes again. Look, is that down to the build-up play from the building out from the back? It's hard to know. It's hard to know. It really, really is. But yeah, we need to have them passages of play again, that build-up play and the passes as well, because well, we need to see that. Look, how can Manchester United beat Newcastle? I mean, look, the easiest thing to say is start games better and the better build-up play, and go back to what we were playing against, to how we were playing against City and Arsenal. But I'm no Statman Dave or anyone who does the tactics for my previews. But what I can say is we do need to start games better. And we sort of went narrow against Palace. But we need to put that, when we put the pressure on, and like I said, it's the pass, it is the quick pass, it's the quick, beautiful passing, the quick passing, the passing and the movement, and there's constant movement and versatility. You need that. But yeah, look, like I pretty much said there, I want to see the style of play we've seen in the last few games. But look, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It's going to be an interesting game. It's not going to be easy. I mean, look, Newcastle, if they play a high line, we're perfect. But if they go with a mid to low block, that's where we struggle. We do struggle to break them down, and that's what we do need to work on. We're trying to pick the lock, but we just can't break it. And it's something we need to do. Look, let's jump into Newcastle United. So, team news for Newcastle is pretty much this. Tino, Livramento, Lewis Smiley, and Bruno Guimaraes all remain absent through injury, and Jacob Ramsey could drop out. Actually, speaking of Jacob Ramsey, I went into the second half. I've seen the start of the second half that he got the equaliser in the first half. He scored for them the first half, and then he was getting sick coming out for the second half. I mean, geez, that's something you definitely you don't like to see. So he could probably be out for this game. That's why I put a question mark beside it. So yeah, I mean, just looking at their form here, actually, if I can go down to it, I mean, look, we're that's away form. I mean, look, in away form, we're 6th with 21 points, 5 wins, 6 draws, 3 losses. So yeah, but I want to look at where they are in the Premier League at this moment, home and away. They are 13th in the league with 26 points. 10 wins, 6 draws, 12 losses. Home form. I mean, I checked their home form. Their home form is actually good. We're 3rd in the table for home form. So Newcastle's home form, they are 12th in the league, 7 wins, 2 draws, 5 defeats, 23 points, and a goal difference of 3. I mean, in terms of the form table for Newcastle, they are 19th in the league. 19th in the league in form table in 2025-26. And this is in the last 6 as well. So, yeah, that they're sort of, Spurs are the team below them in 20th. So they picked up 1 win in the last 6 Premier League games. 1 win, 5 defeats, no draws, 3 points. So, yeah, Spurs are a point behind them. I mean, Spurs are yet to win a game in 2026. So, yeah. It says that we're 2nd, but that's because of goal difference. What the fuck? So we were forced. But, yeah. Look, like I said, West Ham, Newcastle, our team we can get at. Whether we do or not, we need to turn up and we need to, start off on a good note. Look, their danger man, Guimaraes was fit. I would have said him. Harvey Barnes is a good player. Gordon he can be a threat. Jesus. Like, did you have good players like Valdemar? His form's up and down, but he's, Harvey Barnes, Gordon, former United player Olange, who doesn't really get a lot of game time there. Joe Linton, I like him. So yeah, look, will they fancy? Look, home advantage are going to be up for. It's where the team are for because they've been sort of up and down, But they have their threats. They do have their threats, and they're not a team that'll roll over and you'll beat them fairly handy. I hope they do, but like I said, may not come to town. We spoke about their home form. We spoke about the form table, their injuries, their danger man. You could say their problem is Eddie Howe. You could say their main problem at this moment is Eddie Howe. So yeah, let's see what happens. But okay, let's jump into our predicted 11, and it is as follows: Le Mans in goal, Mazraoui left back, obviously Shaw probably going to be out. Dallo right back, 2 centre backs of Maguire and Yoro. Midfield of Casemiro, Mainu, and Bruno. Cooney on the left, and Boom on the right, and Benjamin Šeško up top. Do you know what? I was debating on taking out Mbeumo and playing Ahmad. But then, could Carrick take out Šeško and put Ahmad in? To sort of have that extra, maybe player to drop into the midfield. When in defence. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. Really will be interesting to see. But you never know. He could, but then Sesko, I mean, every time the man's on the pitch, he bags a goal. So he's a player that. And then again, I'm looking at like the height in Newcastle's defence in Botman and then Bourne and players like that. So Thiago, so they do have height. So that could be something that we need to look out for. And look, it'd be interesting to see. But okay, how do you think Newcastle can beat Manchester United? I think it's always about if they overload the midfield, I do think they can get at it. I thought Manu last game wasn't really great. Casemiro just ruins any sort of progress that the opposition have. He just throws himself. He's like a bomb. Just throw him in there and he'll blow the place up and drive the ball forward. So without Casemiro in the midfield, we are boot. Bruno, just Portuguese magnifico. But look, in terms of score prediction, I am going to go with a 2-2 draw. So about this game just tells me it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I'm going to say for us, Sesko and Bruno, why not? And for Newcastle, I'm going to go with Voltemade and something's telling me Anthony Gordon. So yeah, we'll go Anthony Gordon. So yeah, there we go. Look, would a draw be the worst thing in the world? No. I mean, a point. Well, look, Villa play Chelsea at Villa Park, so a draw would be a nice result. A draw would be a nice result here. A draw would be a nice result. If Chelsea and Villa can draw, and then we draw, we're still third place. And we don't play then this weekend because the FA Cup. We play Villa next weekend. So, these next two games are massive for Manchester United. Massive. But yeah, that's my score prediction. Do I think we can beat them? Definitely. I think Carrick knows we have to improve, and I hope we do. And look, it's only the little things. Once we do that, we're away. And yeah, but look, this has been the Man United vs Newcastle Premier League preview. Like the video, comment your score predictions, and subscribe. Follow our socials, link in the description, and I'll speak to you all on the post-match reaction straight after the match. Hopefully it's a positive one. Until then, thanks for watching. Last but not least, come on United!